Hello everyone, myself Yusra Khan, convener of Lawlicious. Lawlicious is an organizing committee founded by Mr. Vivek Dikshit, which provides knowledge about internships, debate, and moot court competitions. It focuses on promoting legal awareness through webinars and competitions, which is beneficial for all law students. Lawlicious has hosted over 40 plus webinars, debate competitions, and many moot court competitions. Now, I would like to introduce our core team, founder Mr. Vivek Dikshit, I, convener Yusra Khan, organizing head committee Divyanshu Mishra, our event manager Ashu Mishra. Now, let me introduce to let me tell you about speech competition. Nyayvani, the voice for justice. To commemorate of 52 years of landmark Keswananda Bharati case, the event seeks to inspire young minds to reflect on constitutional values with a focus on the protection of marginalized communities and the enduring significance of the basic structure doctrine. A speech competition that encourages students to raise their voice on justice, equality, and constitutional rights with a focus on protecting marginalized communities. Topic is same as earlier, a uniform civil code and the basic structure, a conflict between equality and religious freedom. Here are some general guidelines. First is time limit. Each participants will be given 5 minutes to speak on the topic. Uh, Post speech judges will ask questions for 3 minutes to assess understanding and communication skills. Second is dress code and conduct. Wearing formal legal attire is mandatory, which is black and white dress or advocates style clothing. Participants must keep their cameras on throughout the seminar, throughout this session from starting till end. Failure to comply with the dress code or cameras will be lead to disqualification. Third one is content and delivery. Content must be original, relevant, and well organized. A formal tone and adherence to time limits is expected. Fourth is judge criteria, relevance and depth of content, and confidence and clarity. Body language and presentation, responsive during judges will when judge will start their question answers, you should be responsive of them at every questions. Fifth is disqualification grounds. Exceeding time without valid reason will lead to your disqualification. Then cameras off or improper dress code will then you will disqualified. Disrespectful behavior, including two. Additional instructions are here. Use of phones, tips, or external help during the speech is strictly prohibited. Let me introduce to our judges for semi-finals. Our first judge is Adarsh Pandey sir. He's an assistant professor at City Law College. Our second judge is Preeti Mishra ma'am. She's from Narvadeshwar Law College and a member at Bar Council of Uttar Pradesh. Our third judge is Hemant Pandey sir. He's from University of Lucknow. Uh, Now, I would like to introduce or call out our first participant, Muhammad Amir Siddiqui. first participant is Muhammad Amir Siddiqui. Vivek, I don't think so that Muhammad Amir Siddiqui is here. So can I call out second participant or wait for him? Our second participant is Mohana Chaudhary.
I'm audible and visible.
Yes, you are.
Yes, sir. What is equality if not the assurance that every citizen, regardless of their birth, is governed by the same rules? And yet, in the world's largest democracy, the dream of real equality remains shackled by colonial era fragments of personal laws, carved out by religion, culture, and patriarchy. A very good evening to one and all present here. I'm Mohana Chaudhary. Today, we once again have gathered here to discuss about the UCC, the Uniform Civil Code, which is not just a legal reform, it is a constitutional promise that has waited decades to be fulfilled. Here to quote K. Munshi, this attitude of mind, perpetuated under the British rule that personal law is a part of the religion, has been fostered by British and British courts. We must therefore outgrow it. Let me be very clear. UCC is not Uniform Religious Code. Rather, it is Uniform Civil Code, which is pertaining to our own personal rights. UCC does not mean one religion will dominate the other religion. Rather, it intends to put everyone on the same footing, especially women, because we know that how women have been neglected of their rights for decades. Now, it is about ensuring that a Hindu woman, a Muslim woman, a Christian woman all have the same rights in matters of marriage, divorce, and inheritance. Is it too much to ask for? Article 44 of the Constitution clearly mandates in the DPSP that there shall be a uniform civil code throughout the nation. Although it is a DPSP which is not enforceable, it is a guiding principle. Still, these are not decorative words in the textbook. These are the visions of the founding fathers and the mothers. Because Rajkumari Amrit Kaur and other founding mothers also had envisioned this situation where the UCC would be implemented in the next upcoming years. Maybe that was not the right time, but now we are at the right time. And let me remind you, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the father of our constitution, a man who saw the discrimination more than the others, he was also a staunch advocate of the UCC. He said, and I quote, I personally do not understand that why religion should be given the vast, expansive jurisdiction so as to cover the whole of life, and the legislature should not be barred from encroaching into the personal fields of the people. Now, to those who fear that UCC will destroy religious freedom, let me ask you, since when did justice become so negotiable? Is it religious freedom to allow triple talaq where a woman can be divorced in seconds? Is it religious freedom to deny daughters equal inheritance rights? And is it religious freedom that a Hindu man will get married to a Muslim woman by converting to Islam? Because that's what happened in the Sarla Mudgal case. Let us not forget that criminal laws are uniform here in our country. We know that when a crime is committed, we go to the police station and file a complaint irrespective of the religion. Then why the civil courts also cannot be uniform in that case? Those who oppose UCC do so not in the name of religion, but in the name of control because they want to control the empowered women. The Shahbano case in 1985 showed us a reality that when judiciary wanted to implement rights for the women, it was completely at the altar of the vote bank politics. And today, decades later, the ghost of that cowardice still haunt our polity. But this generation, our generation, is not afraid. We will not inherit silence. We will demand justice. The UCC is not an attack on any religion. It is a shield of fairness. It is a call for gender justice, secularism in India, and national integration. It is about making sure that no matter what God you worship, the law protects you equally. In a country torn between appeasement and polarization, let us stand for the one idea that unites equality before the law. Let India rise not as a nation of divided laws, but as a nation of united principles. Because the women, they deserve their rights as equal as men. Let us honor the Constitution not just in letter but in spirit. Uniform Civil Code is not just a law, it is the heartbeat of a republic. And the time to make it better is now. Thank you.
May I question? I am Priti Mishra. One question, आप यूसीसी ये हमारे भारत के किस राज्य में फर्स्ट स्टेट कौन सा है जहाँ पे इन्फोर्समेंट हुआ है?
It was implemented in Goa at first, and then later on Uttarakhand also followed that policy, and Uttarakhand also UCC is implemented now.
Next question. कम्युनिटी की बात की गई है इसमें यूसीसी में. कम्युनिटीज मींस 4 कम्युनिटीज को वन कर दिया गया, इक्वलिटी इक्वल कर दिया गया. तो 4 कम्युनिटीज कौन कौन से हैं?
Hindu, Muslim, Christians, Parsi.
इन लोग के पर्सनल लॉज का एक्ट पता होगा आपको? एक्ट नेम?
Yes, Hindu personal laws, we are governed by Hindu law, Hindu Marriage Act, Hindu Succession Act, Minority and Guardianship Acts are there. Those are codified laws. Apart from that, the Muslims are governed by the Muslim personal law, Shariat application. Christians are governed by their own personal laws. Christian Marriage Act is there. And Parsis are also governed by their own Parsi laws, like Parsi Marriage Act is there. But Special Marriage Act is very much inclusive, and it allows interfaith marriages also in that case.
Okay, good.
May I ask the question?
Yes, sir.
Dear participant, can you kindly tell me that how the Indian courts have addressed the UCC issue? And please quote any 2 leading case laws which are related to UCC.
Okay, so as far as Hindu Marriage Act or Hindu personal laws are concerned, we know that how Hindu codified laws have already given more or less equal rights to the women. But we are coming down to the Muslim personal law because there are so many discriminations and inequalities which are present in the Muslim personal laws. Because of which, to make everyone equal, the UCC has been proposed to be implemented, which has not been implemented yet. But however, it is believed that if UCC would be implemented, the Christian and the Parsis and Muslims, all the women will get the same rights. Now, there are cases like Shahbano Begum or Shaira Bano or Sallah Mughal versus Union of India, we know. In the Shaira Bano case, we know that triple talaq was held unconstitutional. At that time, also, judges felt the need to implement UCC. Even case of the Shahbano Begum, where the maintenance rights of the Muslim women was in question. At that time, Supreme Court felt that if there was a UCC, these things would not have been there. Same goes for Shalda Mudgal case, where a Hindu man was converted to Islam to contract a marriage with a Muslim woman, because bigamy is not permitted in Hindu Marriage Act. That's why he converted to Islam. So if there is a uniform code, uniform civil code, these things are not permitted, like polygamy and all these things. So it will not lead to some unethical and unconstitutional practices. So that's what I believe.
Okay, so participant, can you kindly tell me that how does the UCC relates to the basic structure of the Indian Constitution?
So basic structure doctrine can be traced back to the Keshavananda Bharati case, as we know. In that case, it was stated that the Parliament has the right to alter the laws, but it has to make sure that the core values of the Constitution, that is the basic structure, fundamental rights, it should not be amended like that. It should be kept intact. Now, especially, we have seen that basic structure doctrine consists of secularism, equality. So, secularism and equality, these two things are coexisting in the basic structure. Equality shall prevail over the personal laws. Here we are talking about constitutional morality, which shall prevail over the personal morality. So that's how, if UCC is implemented, it will not at all affect the basic structure, because it will be something which will put everyone on the same footing and everyone will be considered equal in the eyes of the law.
Hello, Mona.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mona, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Secularism is a basic structure of Indian Constitution?
Yes, it is. In SR Vammai case, it was held.
And let me listen. And another is, if we will implement UCC, is it not a violation of secularism?
No, sir, because UCC is
Okay.
about our civil rights, uniform civil code. Here it is stating. So it will be dealing with marriage, divorce, inheritance, adoption rights of the women. Here we are not concerned about the religion. Religion is specifically dealt under Article 25 to 28. UCC will not govern how you pray, how you worship. Rather, it will be governing that how, when, and women should get the same inheritance right as men or not. How they should be protected from all the unconstitutional practices which are propagated in the Muslim personal laws, especially like polygamy and other discriminatory practices are there. So it will be governed by that.
Okay. Next question is that, if I am Muslim and I have a right to polygamy, okay, and that is governed by my religion, okay. So practicing religion is covered under my dignified life. It means if I am doing polygamy as per my religion, it is protected under Article 21, right to dignified life. So if you will implement the UCC, is it not the violation of my right to dignified life?
Okay, sir. So basically, we have seen that in certain cases, Supreme Court has clearly stated that religious practices have to be essential religious practice. It is a test to measure which practices are essential and which are not. So polygamy should not be essential because it is actually eroding the core value of
I
the.
am not talking about the polygamy. I'm not talking about the polygamy. You are saying essential practice test. It is dealt under section 25 to 20, sorry, article 25 to 28. Okay. So if there will be clash between 25 and 21, how you will solve this problem?
So basically, if Article 25 to 28 says that every religion they have their own right to govern themselves in or to profess, practice, and propagate their religion. However, UCC wants to put the women on the same footing here. Here, it's not dealing with the personal religion or religious aspect. As I already have stated, that personal morality should be kept below the constitutional morality.
You
Now,
are not answering what I'm asking. I'm asking that कि अगर right to life है और right to life में dignified life है और dignified life में अगर मुझे अपने religion के according polygamy करने का right है, okay, then आप UCC बना करके आर्टिकल 21 को कैसे वॉलेट कर सकते हो?
but sir,
और अगर आप
polygamy.
एसेंशियल प्रैक्टिस टेस्ट की बात करते हो, एसेंशियल प्रैक्टिस टेस्ट तो 25 में आप ले जाओगे उसे, तो 25 और 21 में अगर कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होगा तो आप 25 को सुप्रीम दिखाना चाहते हो, कैसे?
Sir, Article 21 it states that right to life, liberty. It is everyone shall be, nobody shall be deprived of right to life, liberty, except with the due procedures established by law. Now, here in that case, polygamy or practices like that are not ethical or constitutional practices. So, if it is eroded from the society, it will not at all violate Article 21 because right to life, everything and anything cannot come within the purview of right to life.
Like, listen, you enacted UCC, implemented, everyone can do one marriage. My personal laws give me right to do polygamy, and such practicing such personal laws is protected under right to dignified life. My dignity will be affected if I will not follow my religion. So you are making UCC, and you are saying that I'm not affecting the Article 21. I'm not affecting your right to dignified life. How? You are affecting my personal. You are affecting my religious practices because Article 25 also gives to propagate, profess, right, practice, and 21 gives dignified life. So what is dignity if I cannot follow my religion?
Sir,
If
in
there
the
will be
name,
dignified life?
sir, in the name of dignified life, I don't think polygamy should be normalized.
It's not about polygamy. It's about personal laws versus UCC.
Sir, specific practices since
Good, good
polygamy.
effort. Search it. It's okay. Search it, and you will find something new. Okay. Good efforts. Next.
Am I audible now? Okay. Shall I start? यहाँ हर मजहब मुस्कुराता है, गंगा जमुना तहजीब निभाता है, ना कोई बड़ा ना कोई छोटा, ये मुल्क मोहब्बत सिखाता है. A very good evening, respected dignitaries, esteemed members of the jury, and my fellow citizens. Today, I, Maria Firdaus, stand before you to address a matter of profound constitutional and cultural significance, the proposal of a uniform civil code and its implications on the foundational value of religious freedom in our diverse democracy. India is a miracle, a nation where crores of people, thousands of faiths, and dozens of cultures don't just live, they thrive together. This is not a coincidence. This is constitutional magic. It's the sacred land where Azan and Aarti rise in harmony, where Gurbani and church bells echo together, where diversity is not just accepted but celebrated too. As per the 2011 census, India's religious composition is diverse, with 79.8% Hindus, 14.2% Christians, 14.2% Muslims, 2.3% Christians, and 1.7% Sikhs, among others. Today, as we speak of the Uniform Civil Code, we must reflect, can true equality be born by sacrificing the freedom that defines who we are? The Uniform Civil Code should not be a sword, it should be a bridge. It should not enforce sameness, it should ensure fairness. Let's not mistake uniformity for unity. A true patriot does not ask others to change their prayers. A true patriot protects every citizen's right to pray in peace. Let us be proud not because we are the same, but because we are free to be different. Isn't this the essence of Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat? Let us remember the words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. We are Indians, firstly and lastly. Article 44 of the Directive Principles talks about a uniform civil code, but the same constitution in Article 25 promises every individual the right to freely profess, practice, and propagate religion. We must remember directive principles are guidance, not binding law, but fundamental rights are non negotiable. They form the basic structure, and as the Supreme Court held in the Keshavananda Bharti versus State of Kerala, this structure cannot be altered by any government. न धर्म से देश बनता है न धर्म से देश चलता है देश बनता है उस संविधान से जो सबका सम्मान करता है The UCC proposes to replace all personal laws with one civil law for everyone. But my question is, can one size fit all and truly serve a country of 1.4 billion people, 9 major religions, and over 700 tribes? Personal laws are not mere legal codes, they are cultural identities. Be it the nikah of a Muslim, the saptabadi of a Hindu, or the rituals of a tribal wedding. These are not just traditions, they are heritage. By enforcing one uniform code, we risk erasing the essence of what makes us Indian, our freedom to be different yet united. India's strength lies not in sameness but in integration. We wear different clothes, speak different tongues, celebrate different festivals, and yet we are one. Let me ask, if we could fight the colonial rule without giving up our faiths, why must we now surrender them in the name of legal equality? We must also ask, is UCC really a development priority? When millions of students lack access to quality education, when unemployment is at 46.3% as of 2021, when India ranks 111th out of 125 in the Global Hunger Index. Should uniform laws be our biggest concern? True development, that is Viksit Bharat 2047, means building an India that is not uniform but inclusive, an India that does not erase identities but embraces them with pride, an India where a tribal girl, a Muslim boy, a Sikh farmer, and a Jain monk all feel protected, not pressured. We are not against equality. We are for equality with dignity. We are not against progress. We are for progress with pluralism. We don't need a uniform civil code to become one nation. We already are. Thank you so much.
May I ask the question?
Yes, sir.
Dear participant, can you kindly tell me that whether the UCC can be implemented without violating our religious freedom?
Sir, like after preparing for this speech, what I felt that partially yes and partially no. So because UCC deals in civil laws and not in things like fasting or worshipping. So partially yes, it will not violate religious freedom. But sir, things like marriage, sir, marriage is something which is a very sacred and something which is really close to someone's religion. So I feel it will violate the concept of marriage and the rituals dealing with marriage in different laws. So partially no in this case.
Okay, participant, you will be aware about this concept that the Uniform Civil Code is applied in Goa.
Yes.
So, whether it allows the equal division of income and property between husband and wife, and also between the childrens. Just
Uh,
answer yes or no.
yes, sir, it will.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
May I question?
Yes, ma'am.
यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड जो आपका कोड आया है इसमें वुमेन्स के राइट्स क्या हैं? वुमेन्स को कौन कौन से राइट्स दिया गया है?
Ma'am, in uniform civil code, it will definitely give equality to both men and women equally, and it will also give it will also do gender discrimination, gender justice. But ma'am, someone who knows their religion well, in nowhere in any religion it's given that women are discriminated. Yes, with the time we do feel this because there is progress in every field. So with the time we do feel this, but in no religion it's written that women are discriminated.
यूसीसी में कहा गया है कि जो मैरिज का प्रोसीजर है वो चेंज होगा, मैरिज का एज डिसाइड होगा, ना मैरिज एज चेंज हो गया है यूसीसी अकॉर्डिंग, बहुविवाह समाप्त किया जाएगा और लिविंग रिलेशन में बहुत सारे चेंजेस आए हैं, रूल्स इसमें आपके आए हैं। तो क्या आप इस सारे जो चेंजेस आए हैं आप सेटिस्फाइड हैं कि कुछ चेंज होना चाहिए, डिफरेंट रिलीजन का डिफरेंट होना चाहिए कि इक्वालिटी होनी चाहिए?
Ma'am, I feel that government should first try changing the present personal laws, because in this way it will not there will be no public backlash, what I feel.
फॉर एग्जाम्पल कुछ कम्युनिटी को फोकस नहीं कर रहे हैं, सबकी इक्वलिटी की बात की गई है। कुछ ऐसे पर्सनल लॉज है, पर्सनल लॉज के अकॉर्डिंग, जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल तलाक जो था, तलाक को समाप्त कर दिया जाएगा, मैरिज जो है बहुविवाह वो समाप्त कर दिया जाएगा। तो इससे रिलेटेड जो रूल्स है, तो वो रूल्स क्या उत्तराखंड जो आपका स्टेट है उससे संबंधित कोई केस लॉ है?
Ma'am, I'm really sorry, I'm not aware of this thing.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Proceed to the next candidate.
Am I audible? Okay. Can I start now? So, good evening to the honorable judges, the organizers, and the learned participants. My name is Sankalp Tiwari, and I would be speaking against the motion. And I would like to start my speech by the following lines: that unity in diversity is not just a slogan in India, but is an essential fabric of a country like India. And these lines were spoken by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru post India's independence. And these lines embody the very spirit of what has actually driven us through decades of pluralism. And today, as we debate on UCC, we must ask ourselves: does UCC, really honor the spirit of diversity of India, or does it lead to the undermining of the said diversity principles? So the concept of UCC is actually not a new or a recent one. It has been essentially been debated in the Constituent Assembly post our independence, wherein Dr. B.N. Ambedkar had actually said that the future governments can actually implement UCC, but only and only with the consent of the people and not otherwise. And this is why Article 44, which pertains to UCC, sits in the DPSP and not in the fundamental rights. Why? Because UCC is aspirational and not really enforceable as we stand today. Now, let me take you to the case of Uttarakhand, wherein in 2024 the UCC was passed. What actually happened there? You can see that the said bill had drawn protests from many marginalized communities, including the tribal communities like Tharus and Bhutias, who only got to know about the bill after it had already been passed. And their opinion was not asked; they were neglected. So, can we actually call this neglection and this exclusion in any way justified? We should remember that equality cannot be achieved through such an exclusion. And even the Law Commission of India in 1978 had said that the UCC will do more harm than good if it fails to accommodate the diversity of our nation. And this was not a mere political opinion. This was actually a constitutional warning. And now the supporters of UCC may say that UCC can bring about justice, it can bring about fairness, it can bring about neutrality. But if we really get real and get outside of fantasy worlds, if we look at the core reality of India, what defined as uniform is in India is often guided by the majority people. So uniformity translates into majoritarianism in India, and I don't think it can particularly work. And moreover, if you look at cases like Sarla Mudgal, like someone mentioned, the court therein had, even though it had said that the UCC can bring about national integration, but the court had also acknowledged the difficulty in its enforceability because of the wide diversity which exists in our country, and rightfully so. One cannot just erase centuries old of customary practices and laws with just a stroke of a pen. Now, what we truly require in a country like India is in a country where problems like marital, like dowry, like women oppression still exist. How can we, think about anything else? These problems have been prevalent since years now. Now we should look, what we should take inspiration from is cases like the triple talaq case, the Shara Banu case, as one of the participant mentioned. What the court did there was phenomenal. The court, while preserving the broader religious framework, struck out an oppressive religious practice. So what the court essentially did was balance the dignity of the individual with the belief within the religion. And so, what the court actually aimed for was reform and not replacement. And even if we look at the Goa today, which is hailed as the UCC model of India, we can see that even inside Goa, uniformity is a far-fetched reality because Hindus can practice polygamy there, but Muslims can't. And so, things like these, make me want to question, and I would like to pose this question in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, that can we achieve equality by erasure of diversity? Can the passage of such bills like UCC be done without consent? Can it, in any shape or form, be called justifiable? Will it be called democratic or dominating? I personally feel it would be called the latter. And so, according to me, we as a nation should strive for inclusion. We should strive for reforms within our system. We should strive for respect, and above all, we should strive for protecting everybody's right to be different. And only then, and only truly then, can we achieve the true unity and diversity that our country is proud of since centuries now. Thank you so much for your time.
May I question?
Yes, ma'am.
Indian Constitution Article 14 and Article 44
Yes, ma'am.
इक्वलिटी है, इक्वल है, बट आर्टिकल 25 पर्सनल कोई कम्युनिटी है उसके रिलीजियस को हर्ट किया जा रहा है, तो क्या वो चैलेंज कर सकता है?
अगर
इन
14
उत्तराखंड इन उत्तराखंड
अगर आर्टिकल 14 वायलेट हो रहा है तो
इक्वल आर्टिकल 44 यूसीसी, ठीक है, एंड आर्टिकल 14 इक्वालिटी यूसीसी को कंट्रोल करेगा, बट आर्टिकल किसी के रिलीजियस को हर्ट किया गया, एनी कम्युनिटी, तो आर्टिकल 25 अकॉर्डिंग चैलेंज कर सकता है?
जी मैम, कर सकता है। अगर वो एक एसेंशियल और एक इंटीग्रल पार्ट है और उस चीज को वायलेट किया गया तो आई बिलीव कर सकता है।
पर्सनल लॉ तो रिपील कर दिए गए हैं,
पर्सनल लॉ में रिपील कर दिए गए हैं, बट जो जैसे पूजा जैसी चीज हो गई, कोई वर्शिप का कुछ उस एरिया से अगर कुछ रिलेटेड हो गया, अगर वो चीज वायलेट की जा रही है, क्योंकि यूसीसी उस चीज को टच सच नहीं करता है। अगर कोई उस चीज को वायलेट करता है आउट ऑफ द वे जाके, तो उस चीज को कोई इंडिविजुअल चैलेंज जरूर कर सकता है।
फॉर एग्जाम्पल ऑल ओवर इंडिया, गोवा एंड उत्तराखंड को वो करके छोड़ करके सब जगह मैरिज का जो एज डिसाइड है 18-21, लेकिन यूसीसी जब से इन्फोर्स हुआ उत्तराखंड में तो उनकी मैरिज की एज हो गई है 21 फिक्स हो गई है, तो इसके अकॉर्डिंग क्या वो चैलेंज कर सकते हैं?
मैम आई डोंट थिंक सो, क्योंकि मैम हर देश का एक पब्लिक मोरल, एक पब्लिक ऑर्डर अलग होता है। हर एक चीज जो एक देश में चलती है वो हर देश में नहीं चल सकती। हमारे देश के हिसाब से जो एक जो पब्लिक ऑर्डर है, जो मोरालिटी की डेफिनेशन हमारे देश में सबके लिए जो लागू होती है, उसके हिसाब से आई बिलीव गवर्नमेंट ने वो पर्टिकुलर एज रखी है। अब जैसे टर्की या किसी और इस्लामिक देश में वो एज प्रॉब्ली 9 होगी या 11 होगी, 15 होगी, कुछ भी हो सकती है। वो उनके लिए सही है, वो जरूरी नहीं कि हमारे लिए भी सही हो, क्योंकि ये सारी जो रिलीजियस प्रैक्टिसेस हैं इनमें पब्लिक मोरल और पब्लिक पे कैसा असर पड़ेगा, पब्लिक ऑर्डर पे इफेक्ट आएगा कि नहीं आएगा, ये सब भी देखा जाता है। Which is what I feel.
तो ये जो एक्सप्लोजर हो रहा है यूसीसी का कि बहुत ही गुड लॉ है, मतलब उसका बहुत ही पॉजिटिव जा रहा है, तो पॉजिटिव के बिहाफ पे कुछ नेगेटिव भी पॉइंट्स हैं आपके पास?
जी मैम, बिल्कुल है। क्योंकि मैम दिक्कत यहाँ पे एसेंशियली आ क्या रही है, यहाँ पे विरोधाभास ही यही है कि यूसीसी बनाया गया था मार्जिनलाइज कम्युनिटी की अपलिफ्टमेंट के लिए, बट यहाँ रियलिटी में हो क्या रहा है, इनको इंक्लूड ही नहीं किया जा रहा है पूछने के लिए कि आपको अपलिफ्टमेंट में चाहिए क्या। यहाँ पे जो मेजोरिटी ओपिनियन लेना चाहिए, जैसे अब जो थारू और भूटिया ट्राइब्स और बाकी सारी ट्राइब्स जो उत्तराखंड में थी, उनको तो बेचारों को पता ही नहीं चला कि कब बिल पास हो गया और क्या क्या हुआ। इनको जब सब हो चुका था तब पता लगा, तब तक लेट हो चुका था। ये सब चीजें शुरू में करनी चाहिए थी। यूसीसी बुरा नहीं है, जो चीज इसमें लैग कर रही है वो है नैरो डाउन करके आप लोगों से पूछिए, आप ग्राउंड वर्क ज्यादा करिए। ये चीज है जो एब्सेंट है, जो मेरे को लगता है। जो मार्जिनलाइज कमिटी जिसके लिए आप काम कर रहे हैं उनसे पूछिए तो सही आपको चाहिए क्या, वो यहाँ पे एब्सेंट है।
अवेयरनेस नहीं है।
थैंक यू जी, अवेयरनेस
Okay.
नहीं।
Okay.
Okay, so dear participant, may I ask the question?
जी मैम, जी सर।
Participant, can you tell me that how UCC encourages or promotes the concept of national integration?
How it promotes?
Yes.
Sir, I believe if we look at it conceptually, what UCC is doing is actually, or it should do, is uplift the marginalized communities, which includes.
Sir, I need to go to washroom, so can I just close my mic and go? Is it-
Yes, as I was saying, that UCC should actually work towards the upliftment of the minorities and the female. जैसे sir, the co-parcenary rights for women is one of these examples. Things like these, the abolishment of triple talaq. These are some of the examples that can bring about national integration. That can bring bring about harmony within the wide range of diversity within our nation. What we actually are missing within this whole UCC debate is the awareness and the points of these minority groups only. Because what happens in India, and it's a very sad reality, that what the definition of uniform is often defined by the majority, and it could be any religion, but I'm not going into that. But the यूनिफॉर्मिटी की डेफिनेशन है वो एक मेजॉरिटी बता रहे हैं, तो एसेंशियली माइनॉरिटी तो तब भी दे गॉट नेग्लेक्टेड हियर एज वेल. सो यस, ideally it should bring about national integration, but only if you narrow it down and you actually take efforts to naturally integrate the minority groups together. Also, sir, UCC can also, give a common identity to all these marginalized communities, and it, also has the potential to recognize the LGBTQ people, the third gender people, all these people, of course, only if it goes beyond the scope of the traditional family structure. It can actually help them as well. So it does have potential, but for now, I don't think India is ready for it.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Sankalp. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
संकल्प, आप ये बताइए कि क्या कोई कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल ग्राउंड बनता है अगर कोई पर्सन यूसीसी के प्रोविजन से एग्रीड है, क्या वो किसी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल ग्राउंड्स पे कोर्ट में अप्रोच कर सकता है?
नहीं सर, आई डोंट थिंक सो. मतलब हाँ सर, आई डोंट थिंक सो. किसी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल
is there any fundamental rights in which a person can approach the court that their fundamental rights are violated by UCC?
ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज कैन एक्चुअली डू दैट, क्योंकि सर अगर क्योंकि उनके तो काफी मतलब अलग, जैसे नागाज हैं, जैसे मिजोरम में 371 ए और 371 जी जैसे उन पे लागू होता है उनके प्रोटेक्शन के लिए. तो ये सारे जो ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज है, ये सब जो माइनॉरिटी क्लास है, ये जरूर अप्रोच कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि इनकी कम्युनिटी के जो प्रैक्टिसेस हैं वो सेंचुरीज से चलते आ रहे हैं. और हम जो मेजोरिटी रिलीजन है उनको बहुतों को आइडिया भी नहीं है कि उनमें क्या चल रहा है. तो यूसीसी अगर बनेगा भी तो वो कीप इन माइंड करेगा जो मेजोरिटी रिलीजन्स एग्जिस्ट करते हैं इंडिया में, हिंदू, मुस्लिम, पारसी, एक्सेट्रा. इन ये ट्राइबल कम्युनिटी जो है वो तब भी बहुत हद तक नेग्लेक्ट होने की पोटेंशियल रखते हैं कि नेग्लेक्ट हो जाएंगे, तो ये लोग हाँ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली
What
अप्रोच
is
कर सकते हैं।
what is your opinion about implementation of UCC in brief?
Sir, I actually think it's a very India is very young to apply it because sir बिल्कुल सिंपल अभी डाउरी जैसी चीज अभी तक हल नहीं हो पा रही है, अनटचेबिलिटी अभी तक हो नहीं पा रही है, अंबेडकर जी कब के बोल के चले गए वो अभी तक चल रहा है, तो इतना कुछ है जो अभी होना बाकी है, छोटी छोटी चीजें नहीं हो रही है अभी सर, गरीबी से तो अभी निकले हैं, कल ही एक मैंने रिपोर्ट पढ़ी थी पॉवर्टी से अभी जाके
No,
इंडिया
is
मिडिल
there
क्लास।
any relevant effect you can show?
यस सर, आई
You
मीन
cannot
सर,
compare a lot with another. The comparison cannot be a good option. Okay,
ओके यस
एक
सर,
को बुरा बनाओ दूसरा अच्छा बन जाएगा. This is not a good way. So any relevant effects if you can count.
यस सर, सर ये तो हमें प्रैक्टिकली उत्तराखंड में भी दिख ही रहा है, ट्राइबल जो कम्युनिटी है उनको तो वहाँ एक्सक्लूड किया ही गया है, जो जो अवेयरनेस जो होनी चाहिए अभी तक लोगों को है नहीं, जिन जिन लोगों के लिए ये बिल बनाया गया है, जिनके अपलिफ्टमेंट के लिए बिल एक्चुअली एग्जिस्टेंस में लाया गया, उनको ये ना पता है पहली बात, और पता भी है तो उनसे कोई ये चीज पूछने नहीं आ रहा है कि आपको क्या चाहिए, हाउ वुड यू लाइक अस टू हेल्प यू, आप क्योंकि कंसेंट ऑफ द गवर्नड इज वेरी एसेंशियल इन अ डेमोक्रेटिक सोसाइटी।
So as per you, the government should take opinions of the citizens or different sects or people from different religion. After the consideration of that opinions, the government should enact UCC, right?
Yes sir, the consideration and
Then
inclusivity
such
should be
UCC
there.
will be impactful. Then the enactment of UCC will be impactful on the society, right?
Yes sir,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you sir.
Hello, Namaste, Adab, Sat Shri Akal to all respected judges, authorities, and my worthy opponents. I am Sonali Gupta, a fourth year law student of Desh Bhagat University, Mandi Gobindganj, Punjab. First of all, I would like to extend my huge gratitude to select me and give me an opportunity to speak on the same topic for the semifinals. I'm really thankful and with all heart, I'm looking forward to gain more experience and giving my best in this semifinal match. So let's dive in without wasting much time. The Indian Constitution enshrines both the ideal of equality before the law and the freedom of religion, values that are often seen in tension when discussing in implementation of a uniform civil code. Article 44 of the Directive Principles of State Policy directs the state to endeavor to secure a UCC for all citizens. However, Articles 25 to 28 guarantee religious freedom, including the freedom to manage religious affairs. Let's see constitutional provisions and framework. Article 44, Directive Principle, seeks a common civil code to promote national integration and equality not enforceable by courts but considered fundamental in governance. Article 25 to 28, Fundamental Rights, guarantee freedom of conscience and religion, protect religious practices such as subject to public order, morality, and wealth. Basic structure doctrine. In the case of Keshavananda Bharti versus State of Kerala, 1973, Parliament cannot alter the basic features of the Constitution, including secularism, rule of law, and fundamental rights. UCC and fundamental rights, a legal perspective. The UCC is connected to fundamental rights many through articles 14, 15, 19, 20, 21, and 25 of the Constitution. Here's how. Article 14, right to equality. Article 14 guarantees that all persons are equal before the law and entitled to equal protection of the laws. Different personal laws, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Parsi, etc., create illegal inequality among citizens in matters like marriage, divorce, adoption, and inheritance. Implementing a UCC would promote uniformity and equal treatment, and under civil laws, making sure all citizens are treated equally regardless of religion. Article 15, prohibition of discrimination. Article 15, prohibition of discrimination based on religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Personal laws sometimes discriminate based on religion and gender. For example, polygamy allowed in one religion but not others. Different inheritance rights to women. A UCC would eliminate these religion and gender based discrimination. Article 19, right to freedom. Citizens have the right to freedom of speech, expression, and profession. UCC, by giving uniform civil rights, would liberate individuals, especially women, from religion contestants in private and professional lives. Article 21, right to life and personal liberty. The discriminatory personal laws sometimes violate human dignity. For example, unfair divorce laws or lack of maintenance rights. A UCC would uphold human dignity by ensuring fair, just, humane civil laws. Article 25, Clause 1 guarantees the right to freely profess, practice, and propagate religion, but this right is subject to public order, morality, and wealth. Article 25, 2, Clause 2, Clause A permits the state to regulate or restrict secular activities associated with religious practice. The judiciary has often distinguished between essential religious practices and secular aspects. Article 25 gives the right to practice, profess, and propagate religion. However, the state can regulate secular activities, non-religious matters, even if they are linked to religion, under Article 25, Clause 2, Clause A. So, therefore, UCC would not violate religious freedom as long as essential religious practices are respected. The Balancing Act, Judicial and Legislature stance. Judicial observations. Sarla Mudgal versus Union of India 1995 case called for UCC to prevent misuse of personal laws of polygamy. Joseph Shine versus Union of India 2018 struck down adultery laws as archaic and unequal, signifying reform of personal and political sensitivities. UCC has remained one of the political agendas but implementation remains stuttled due to communal sensitivities and challenging of harmonizing diverse laws. Conclusion. The conflict between UCC and religious freedom is not insurmountable. The Constitution permits regulation of secular aspects of religion and does not consider personal laws as essential religious practices. A well-crafted UCC can enhance the basic structure, especially equality, secularism, and dignity, without infringing core religious beliefs. The challenge lies inclusive dialogue, phased implementation, and sensitive legal drafting that respects India's pluralism while upholding constitutional morality. Thank you.
May I question?
Yes, ma'am.
यूसीसी के अगेंस्ट अगर आपको 5 पॉइंट्स कुछ कहना हो अगेंस्ट में, तो इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की राइट टू इक्वालिटी की बात की गई है, तो क्या आपके वर्ड्स होंगे 5 पॉइंट्स में?
First of all, ma'am, पहले तो first of all, UCC is especially is for inheritance, adoption, divorce, and marriage. If these grounds are not checked by UCC and other grounds like the prayers and customs, then it would be difficult to be मतलब अगर ये सब नहीं हुआ और ये आउट ऑफ ऑर्डर गई तो फिर ये गलत हो सकती है. And secondly, as to those Adivasis, we are talking about I'm not getting the perfect word for that, but if the Adivasi, the backward classes are not getting any profit from this UCC, from this law, then it may be difficult for difficult for India to cooperate with this. And after this, it's largely for benefit because it it is for civil rights. So it has small. It may be for small things like that Adivasi things and for prayers and customs. If those are touched with this law, but if not, then it is okay for all the citizens and for the country.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, dear participant, may I ask one question?
Yes, sir.
Participant, can you kindly tell me whether the UCC promotes the concept of cultural diversity or not?
Cultural diversity. Uh, yes, sir. It will definitely do promote, because it as UCC it's is only uh, going through the areas of divorce, marriage, inheritance, and adoption. That's it. Customs and prayers are they will remain the same. Customs, their personal customs for Muslims and other religions, like the Sikh having their um, other maybe many customs, like having that amrit chakna and all that, they will remain the same. Only the marriage, divorce, and inheritance will be changed for mostly for Muslim and also Hindus also, because in uh, uh, all these religions, not talking about religions, many women are not getting their rights, and also some men are not also getting their rights. So make them civil, make them civilly equal. That's why this law is there. So it will obviously in cultural diversity it will promote also this, it will promote that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sonali, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You used a term constitutional morality. Can you explain?
Constitutional morality, sir, that first of all, constitutional, which is mentioned in constitution, and morality, like moral values, morally, like what is wrong, what is right according to constitution, that we can check the right and wrong, the equity, the equity, equality. Because according to me, many are asking that some will gain their rights, and some will be not gaining their rights after this UCC will be there. But if we check according to equity, according to justice, according to right and wrong, there is a term like one community must go down for the upliftment of the already growing, all the very privileged one. So it's like that constitutional morality, that one community has to suffer little bit of
Okay.
injustice to promote the justice between the more privileged one, more
Okay. As per
under.
you, whatever in the constitution is constitutional morality. Okay. So there is Article 25, Article 21, right? Right to
20.
religion, right to dignified life, and there is Article 44 on which UCC is based. So on the basis of Article 44, can you prevail the Article 44 over that articles 25 and 21?
Article 44 of the directive principle of state policy directs the state to endeavor to secure a UCC for all citizens.
Is
So
Article 44 is enforceable like 21 and 25?
it is DPSP, like at fundament, they are fundamental rights, they are already in work. All the articles under the DPSP are like they're coming in future. It is
Right.
already written in
So
constitution.
if we will implement the UCC, we
Yes, sir.
will neglect the constitutional morality, because if someone is getting offended that my Article 21 and 25 is violated by UCC, which is enacted on the basis of 44, which is only merely guidelines. Okay, the active principles of state policy, right? They are not enforceable like 21 and 25. So if someone got offended, then how you will deal with that? You are violating the constitutional morality by implementing the UCC. It's not about only using the term morality, constitutional morality. You must have to understand the essence. One sided you are using that term, and another side, if someone got offended, then you are also violating the constitutional morality.
Yes. So please, may I?
Yes.
So under the article, it's right to life and right to dignity, and under Article 25, it's right to religious practices. So it is also mentioned under Article 25 Clause 2 Clause A permits the state to regulate or restrict secular activities associated with religious practices. The one who will get offended must be going something against the religious practices, because it is mentioned in the Article 25 Clause 2 Clause A permits the state to regulate or restrict secular activities associated with the religious practices. So the one who is getting offended must have done something wrong. That's why he or she is getting offended by this, because it never go against the morality. And it is mentioned in the if it is against the religious practices, then the one
Is
may be
there
getting.
is there anything mentioned in Article 25 which shows that Article 21 is supreme? Is there anything mentioned in the Constitution which shows that right to dignified life, right to life and liberty is superior than right to religion?
Uh,
There is a
Sorry.
word, you should read that. If you will under I know you are not getting that point. Okay. If you read Article 25, there is a term subject to the other provisions of this part, right? Which is ignored by you. Subject to the other provisions of this part, right? You are only remembering public order, health, morality. It's good. But there is a line subject to the other provisions of this part. What is that part? Part third,
Yes.
which is comes Article 21 comes under part third. If you will, you are facing a situation where Article 21 and 25 is clashing. Then who is superior? Superior. I'm not saying anything is superior, but as per the bare provisions, there is mention subject to the other provisions of this part. Must learn that, and you will find a new concept. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Okay. Um, Respected judges, my and every fellow citizen of my dear country, India, and my respected opponents. Today, I, Vidushi Tiwari of City Academy Law College, second year, is going to say a few arguments in the favor of UCC. And before I say what are the legal arguments or what are the case laws, but I want to shed a light on the few concepts of history which we might not have forgotten, and that is when our India got independence on 15th August in 1947. During that time, India was having 575 princely states, in which 13 went to Pakistan, and 562 princely states are now the part of India. My very first question to every other person who says that UCC is a bulldozer in the equality, unity and diversity, and a bulldozer for people professing their cultural and religious freedom. Like, if India becoming India, the today's India, what we known as like from Jammu, Kashmir to Kanyakumari, is not wrong, then why having a common law, why having a common civil code for everyone is wrong? In 1985, during the time when the Shah Banu case came, a 62-year-old woman was kicked out of her marital home. The reason, her husband divorced her. She was not, and after that, when she went to claim her justice, she was not asking for like, give me the kingdom, give me Mercedes, give me a Rolls Royce. She was just asking for maintenance, her dignity, so that she can live with life in the way she was living comfortably. She was also one of those people who, in making sure that her family is getting what they truly deserve, she fulfilled her every responsibility, be it of wife, her daughter-in-law, or mother. But what in return which she got? that even though Supreme Court of India gave her the right to maintenance, but our legislative assembly at that moment just said no, you cannot, because they bowed in front of the. I am not saying that UCC can be implemented easily. It is never an easy thing that to implement a big change. And just like in the 1947, still in the 2025, it is not. The thing is, earlier in the 1947, we were not having the enough technology. We were not having enough resources. We were just suffering from the partition. But we stood still. We stood, we are here by the grace of our freedom fighters like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Dr. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So now, why can't we implement it? In the Salla Mudgal case, just because of one polygamy right, where people, one husband was ready to like convert, one man was ready to convert into another religion and have a second wife. Is it equality? We say that Article 14 gives us equal protection of law and we are equal before law. What kind of equality is that? Because in my eyes, it is not an equality. It is just like we are way too comfortable in the men in the hollow name of equality, which in reality is the biggest division criteria and biggest diversity criteria. And the the base of equality which we say is now becoming more and more cracked, because if we were knowing what is the true meaning of secularism, if we were knowing what is the true meaning of unity and diversity, if we were knowing the true meaning of equality, then we would not have be too comfortable in the cell which was filled with darkness. Because when the equality roars, it creates the fear in the heart of inequality. It creates ground shaking, vibration under the people who says that we are not going to let the India unite. It is always that we just forgot what is the true power of equality was. And at last, I would like to say that even though Article 44, which is a DPSP and is not a fundamental right or fundamental duty of the citizen of India, we should implement it. Not because we are going to create a history like we have now. We are now joining hands with everyone, and now we are going to follow the same steps of everyone, like France, like Turkey, like Indonesia. But because we are the descendants of the Akhanda Bharat, of who were ready to make sure that Britishers are going to get away from our land, just like in the 1857 Indian independence struggle. They have shown, they have seen our unity. At that moment, we were not men, we were not women, we were not Hindu, we were not Sikh, we were not Shudra, we were not Brahman, we were Indian. We were those who wanted Britishers out of our land. Now we are descendants of those freedom fighters, and we are the ancestors of those generation who will be feeling the cool air of the trees of Viksit Bharat. We have to make sure that we are giving them what they truly deserve. We have to make sure that they are going to say that yes, we are equal, we are Indian, not we are Muslim, we are Hindu, I am from this caste, I am from this tribal community, I am nothing but an Indian. I'm sorry for the intensity. And Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
May I have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Violation of UCC.
I'm sorry.
Violation of UCC.
Violation of UCC.
Where you go?
Ma'am, then we can go to this directly Supreme Court, ma'am, and because it is the guardian of the fundamental right, and if we don't like first before that we can go to the High Court, because Article 226 gives the right to go to High Court, and Article 32 gives right to go to the Supreme Court if we are facing any kind of fundamental right violation. Because ma'am, first thing, the UCC is not to create a barrier for the people of who are not able to profess, practice, or propagate their religion. It is just like it is going to create a barrier for the obstacles which we are creating for the having the equality which our forefathers imagined or thought of, dreamed of. um, it is just going to deal with the separation laws, divorce laws, succession laws, and not only that, ma'am, for the women, but it is also going to the give benefits to the children who were born from the interfaith parent. Ma'am, what about our child who was born from interfaith parent and his parents or her parents divorced? What will be his or her situation if he or she is not able to get the inheritance, and in the case where he needs it really or she needs it? And what about the LGBTQ, ma'am? They are also humans, and and sometimes even male were also not given the rights which they were given, which they should have.
One next question. Living relations.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ यूसीसी कहता है कि उनका रजिस्ट्रेशन कंपल्सरी है.
Hmm.
इन केस उसका वॉल्यूशन हुआ, रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं कराया, इलीगल आप लिविंग रिलेशनशिप में रह रहे हैं, तो उसके अगेंस्ट हम कहाँ से रेमेडीज लेंगे? कोई कंप्लेन करता है तो
मैम, एक लॉ में एक क्लीन हैंड्स डॉक्ट्रिन होती है. उस डॉक्ट्रिन का सिंपल सीधा मतलब होता है कि इफ यू वांट टू क्लेम अ रेमेडी यू मस्ट कम विद अ क्लीन हैंड. मैम, अगर हम लोग यहाँ पे सीधे बात करें कि अगर आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन आप लिव इन में रह रहे हैं तो रजिस्ट्रेशन करवा दीजिए. इसमें आपको सोसाइटी अगर जज करे तो आप सोसाइटी पे के बेसिस पे रहना शुरू कर रहे तो फिर मैम जीना छोड़ ही दे वो लोग, या फिर लिव इन में ही रहना छोड़ दे. क्योंकि मैम सीधी बात आती थी, लिव इन रिलेशनशिप्स में भी जो कपल रहते थे उनका हैरेसमेंट होता था. तो अगर वहां पे उनको प्रोटेक्शन चाहिए तो दे शुड कम, या दे शुड फर्स्ट रजिस्टर, सो दैट अगर उनको कोई फ्यूचर में हैरेसमेंट हो रही तो वो वहां पे रेमेडीज क्लेम कर सकते हैं. इट इज नॉट लाइक मैम वी आर गोइंग टू बी लाइक
इन वेयर
मैम आर्टिकल 21 राइट टू डिग्निफाइड लाइफ.
ओके ओके थैंक यू.
Vidushi, I have a question.
Okay, sir.
You use the term secularism, right? So, which philosophy of secularism is prevalent in India? Like there is
I
Western
don't know.
philosophy of secularism and Western philosophy of secularism. Which one we follow?
I don't know. I don't know that, sir.
Okay, you must search about after this session. And what do you understand by the term secularism?
The term secularism for me, sir, it is a situation in which the country or the state have no particular religion they follow. They treat every religion as equally. But if I and there is no compulsion on the person or the citizens of the India that they should give this religion more respect, or that religion less respect. It is like everyone should be treated
So,
among equally.
state will not hinder in the matter of religion, right?
No, it will not.
So enacting UCC is not the hindrance in their personal right to religion.
No, sir. No, sir. It is not.
Okay,
Because,
thank
sir,
you.
the reason is it is not going to stop us from, like, in Hinduism, there is one ceremony which is known as Tilak ceremony before we get married. So we are not, UCC is not going to stop it, like you are not allowed to have a tilak. In nikah ceremony, you are not allowed to say kubule 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 for 3 times. It will allow what are the essentials, but it will not say that if anything is wrong, and if anything is secular, like article 25 to 28 also says that article religious
Conclude briefly.
practice.
Kindly conclude briefly. Okay.
Okay, sir. Like, right to religious freedom also states that if the state has the right to interfere in the secular related matters like public morality, health, and other things, so it is going to interfere on that only. Otherwise, no personal laws will be um, interfered where it is going
Okay.
to harm the philosophy,
Thank you.
the things which a person believe in religious freedom.
Thank you, Adishik.
Thank you, sir.
सबसे पहले तो मैं माफ़ी चाहूँगा कि देर से ज्वाइन होने की और उसकी वजह से मुझे आखिर में बोलना पड़ा है। सारे जजेस से मैं इजाज़त के साथ अपनी बात को शुरू करना चाहूँगा। कोई भी विचार हो जिस पे हम चर्चा करते हैं, उसके 2 पहलू होते हैं, पॉज़िटिव और नेगेटिव। कल की चर्चा में माफ़ कीजिएगा प्रीलिमिनरी राउंड की चर्चा में मैंने उसके पॉज़िटिव पहलुओं पे विचार रखे थे, लेकिन ज़रूरी समझता हूँ कि एक बार फिर से उनको रिकॉल करूँ। एक जो सबसे बेसिक बात हो रही है कि क्या ये बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर के साथ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट क्रिएट करेगा ये जो रेजोल्यूशन आ रहा है यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड का। तो मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा कि मेरे हाथ में